My name is Halle. I am a medical assistant at a office for seniors. And so I get to love on seniors during the day and get the medication. And that's something that I really love doing. And then I also am an active member of my church. I get to lead worship. And then I also volunteer through some ministries there. So yeah, that's what I do to kind of keep myself busy. And then in my free time, I hang out with my friends, or I also hang out with my dog. When I came to Insight, I was very nervous. I was going through a big life transition. I had just graduated school to be a medical assistant, but I was also still living in a homeless shelter. So I was going through this transition where I didn't really know what I needed to do, but I knew that something had to change and something had to be better, because I knew that once I got into a career, I would have more stability, and I needed tools to be able to handle that and to steward that well and not just freak out and get so overwhelmed that I just dropped the ball. So I came to Insight through Uprise. Uprise actually connected me with Insight and gave me some sessions, and they said, you don't ever have to go back, but you just try this out, and if you want to go back, let us know. I got connected with Courtney on Zoom sessions. Through the amount of therapy that I had had before, I know that when you go through big transitions in life, it's hard. It doesn't matter if it's a positive one or a negative one. Even if you know that you're on a trajectory to do better in your life, you have to have a way to steward that well and to carry that and gain the tools that you need. As soon as I started sessions with Courtney, I wasn't really confident enough to come in person. I get very overwhelmed by people, and she never once made me feel like we had to be seen in person. My care was never compromised because it was via Zoom. She was very, very patient with me through that process. And then when I was ready to come in person, she was so encouraging. And then she met me kind of with what I needed. There were a couple of times where I was like, hey, can we not be in the office? Can we go for a walk or something like that? And she's always met me kind of where I'm at. And that's been super, super important for me, especially when I'm getting to know people. You're there as to tell your life story, and it's not always an easy thing to do, to walk through those things. And so to have somebody who is just kind of comes alongside you and not necessarily pulls you further than, just drags you along. They walk alongside you and is patient and kind. It's made all the difference for me in my life. And truly, I am 28 years old, and I've been going to therapy since I was 3, off and on. And truly, I can say without a doubt, she's been the best therapist that I've had. Because of my time with Courtney, one of the biggest changes that I've noticed in the last year or so is that I've actually been in a position where I've been able to completely come off of mental health medication, because I am not so overwhelmed and I have better tools to handle my emotions and what comes up. But even then, even if I was still on medication, because I also view that as a tool, even if I was still on medication, I have gained just the skills to be able to handle disappointment better. I have gained the tools to be able to handle whenever I'm sad and maybe there's like an overwhelming emotion with that, or when people have failed me, and even past trauma that I've been able to reconcile. I just feel like day to day, my life is a lot smoother, because instead of freaking out when something happens, I say, this is what I've been taught, and this is what she's told me in love and in patience and kindness with me, and this is what I can bring to myself. I think something that was really important for me was to find a community, and once I found that, I gained a lot of healing myself from telling my story. So just sharing with a group of safe people was really important for me. And then that leaks over into therapy, to be able to have the confidence and the courage to share. It's so healing. And then if I could just say to stay the course, even if it's just getting up every day, it makes a difference. Even if all you did that day was decide to eat something healthy for yourself, it made a difference. So it's not, I think that a lot of time people think healing is just you go to therapy 3 or 4 times and you're just all better. No, sometimes therapy is you have to be in therapy for years, maybe even for the rest of your life, but you made a decision for healing, and that's what matters.